October 3rd, everyone. You're listening to the Midwest Horror Network October 2020 special, where we're diving into all of the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes. This is Treehouse of Horror 3 today, so say goodbye to the last lingering thread of your heterosexuality, because you're about to listen to four guys who have seen a lot of movies.
Jesus Christ.
God, thank God this episode was better than the last one.
So much better than the last one.
So much more. It felt like a Simpsons episode.
It did.
Just felt like good comedy.
Like, there was a lot of good shit going on in this one. So, I'm very happy that there's a lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah. All right. I mean, even just from the opening shot, you can tell this is going to be a much better experience.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You actually had your, like, traditional opening gag, which is nice, and like, all the opening jokes were fucking solid. The grandpa's joke about fucking welfare was amazing.
I love that one.
So this one begins with the Homer Simpson's silhouette drawing, much in the same vein as the famous Alfred Hitchcock silhouette from Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
I just went, oh my God, I can't believe that they're doing this. Yep, they're doing this.
And he gives the usual warning of there are a bunch of crybabies out there, religious types mostly, who don't like scary stories. As he starts daring everybody to turn off their TVs and calling them chicken. But then the audience does turn off their TV. And Marge comes out and scolds him, and he says, I swear I didn't call anybody chicken. I swear on this Bible, but it's not a Bible. It's a book of carpet samples.
I haven't seen a good cutaway gag that good since Gremlins 2.
Yeah, it was a really good opening. And then we go through the graveyard. Since this is Halloween Special 3. Got a few gravestones. There's really only one that I was amused by in this one. And that was the last one, American Workmanship, as it just crumbles apart.
Yeah. They've been going pretty fast. Every episode they've been going like faster and faster through the cemetery.
Yeah. They're less gravestones as well. Yeah. Like there's not nearly as many in each episode. I feel like 2 episodes from now it's like one gravestone and then dead.
Dude, I feel like it's contractually obligated to do those. Like, you know, when you do the side effects for like a medication, or the terms of agreement, like it wants to go as fast as possible. I think it's starting to get to that point.
I think so.
This might be the last one where they did the gravestones. So this one or the next one.
Okay.
But they do give them up pretty soon. And then the couch gags is a skeleton version of the family sitting on the couch.
It's pretty great.
Yep. They turned it into a t-shirt that Mark got me for my birthday last year.
Nice.
And yeah, that's the opening. Our wraparound this episode is the Simpsons are throwing a Halloween party. They have a whole bunch of neighborhood kids over. Everybody's wearing a costume. A lot of costumes in this one. My favorite is Bart as Alex DeLarge from Clockwork Orange.
I was like, holy shit.
That's an interesting one.
I was like, wow, that is very specific.
Especially for a kid, just like, that's interesting.
Oh, you're like, oh, there's a very violent rape scene in that movie.
You get Nelson punching Martin in the stomach. Homer comes down the stairs as the mighty Caesar, but his toga gets cut in a nail in the wall and rips off his toga, so he's just standing there in his underwear, everybody laughing at him. And then Marge does that game where the kids close their eyes and she passes around graves and like, these are a witch's eyes, and then these are her brains, and it's a steak, and so on and so forth. Yeah. We've all been to a Halloween party where they do that game.
Oh yeah, those are a lot of my memories too as a kid. Yeah. It's like I don't remember like a lot of my costumes I had as a kid. Most of them were basic. I do like remember a lot of like scares and dealing with like.
I've never seen anybody do that before.
Really?
Yeah, it was a fun little thing that they used to do with
I never liked it. Even as a kid, I thought it was a waste of food.
Well, fair enough.
I'll agree with that. Especially steak. What are you wasting steak for?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, the parties I had, they weren't using steak. They were using like olives and like spaghetti and
shit that doesn't cost you that much.
Yeah.
Fucking steak's a lot of money though. That'd be ridiculous.
I wouldn't waste a steak on a joke like that. That's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
The Simpsons wonder why they're in financial trouble.
No shit.
But yes, as the game goes on, Bart says, "Hey, oh, Mom, we haven't gotten the eyes yet," but Homer has been eating the food as it's been getting to him in the line. They need a new Halloween game. Marge asks if anybody knows a good ghost story, to which Lisa says she has one. It's about a boy and his doll. Homer says that's not so scary. And Lisa adds a doll from hell. Maniacal laugh, maniacal laugh. Go into our first segment, Clown Without Pity. Zach, tell us about Clown Without Pity.
So Clown Without Pity, it starts on Bart's birthday.
Yep.
And he opens his present from his grandfather, and it's just a box full of cash. And Bart's like, "Oh my God, thank you, Grandpa." And then the grandpa's like, "Yeah, it's my welfare check. I got it from the government. I don't need it, but I'll be sure to raise hell if they miss even a fucking penny." It's like, holy shit, how true
Wow.
is that? So right off the bat, we're having a great start. So then
that's great.
Homer's just like, "Oh shit, I need to go out and get him a gift." So he goes to this cursed antique shop filled with a bunch of
one-stop shop for evil.
Yeah, there you go. The one-stop shop for evil with all the cursed antiques. And you got this pale-skinned old dude.
And don't forget frozen yogurt.
Well, we'll get to
Or
that.
as he calls it, Frogers.
We'll get to that in a second. So yeah, he asks, "Do you sell anything here for like boys or whatever?" He's like, "All our items are cursed, but we do sell yogurt, but we call it Frogurt." "You have anything for a 10-year-old boy?" "Oh, yes." And he picks up this fucking crusty doll, but beware, it is cursed. But it does come with Frogurt. But the Frogurt is cursed. But it comes with your choice of topping. But the topping is... What was the topping?
But the toppings contain potassium benzoate.
It is also cursed.
That's also bad.
That's good. Oh, that's bad. That's good. That's bad.
Like, that's a science joke.
It's a pretty big and long back and forth, but it's pretty funny. So... brings the fucking toy home. It's all wrapped. Bart unwraps it, sees it's a crusty talking doll, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's the best birthday gift in the world, yay!" And hugs his dad. And then, what's it called? Later, Homer and the doll are sitting on the couch, and he pulls the string, and the crusty doll's like, "I'm going to kill you!" He's like, "Oh, that's cool." The doll repeats it again, "I'm going to kill you." "Hey, I didn't actually pull the string that time." Then he gets up and he starts threatening Homer. He throws the doll over the fucking couch, and then he pops back up with a fucking knife. Homer screams at the top of his lungs. The family rushes in. "What the fuck's going on in here?"
Oh my God.
"The doll's trying to kill me." The Krusty's sitting on his hands and shit with a smile on his face. Bart's like, "I think he's lost his mind."
I'd say the pressure's going to get to Dad, but what pressure?
Exactly. There you go. Then they leave, and he starts chasing Homer with a knife. And it's just like, okay. Fast forward to Homer taking a bath, singing a really stupid song to himself.
He was singing the Oscar Mayer Wiener song.
I don't
Except
care.
he didn't know how to spell all of the Oscar Mayer.
Hate that fucking song. It's so stupid. But anyways, Krusty pops out of the water with a fucking spear, throws it at Homer, barely missing his left ass cheek. Homer's running through the house naked. Marge and her sisters are sitting in the kitchen.
Which, by the way, did anybody also catch that is in a Moby Dick joke? Because he has a spear gun and he's hunting a whale.
Oh my God.
Wow, Mark.
I am just saying.
Anyways, so Homer runs through the kitchen butt-ass naked, and Marge and her two sisters are there, and her sister just goes, "Well, there goes any resemblance of my heterosexuality."
Oh my God, it's fucking great.
Alright, so fast forward a few seconds later. Krusty the doll is sitting in this dollhouse, which I don't know who the fuck owns a dollhouse in that house.
Probably
but anyways,
Lisa.
Sure. He's talking to what I'm going to assume is one of Lisa's Barbie dolls, hitting on her and trying to fuck her.
Malibu Stacy.
Malibu Stacy. There you go. That's a fucking name. Anyways,
The Barbie knockoff.
Homer barges in with a bag of dirty socks and a chest, and he just throws the Krusty doll in there. And the Krusty doll's just like, "It's gonna take more than a bag of dirty socks to take me down." And then he slowly starts.
They are making me woozy.
And
He's fighting, and then he just slowly just goes poof. And then Homer puts them in the trunk, locks it up, chain and everything, and then he drives to this thing called the Bottomless Pit, where he proceeds to throw the Krusty doll, followed by a mafia guy, probably one of Mark's uncles or something like that. He throws a body bag in here, and then comes this fucking journalist. "Man, I didn't think anybody was gonna. Nobody wanted these nude pictures of Rosie O'Donnell.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, yeah.
Another one of the cast members of The View.
I don't think anybody will want Rosie O'Donnell either. That's besides the point. So yeah, he comes with all these nude pictures of Whoopi Goldberg and throws them into the bottomless pit. And the bottomless pit's like, no, fuck you. He throws it back up and gives it to the journalist.
What the?
Nobody fucking wants those.
Oh my god.
So,
I fucking love this episode.
Homer gets back to the house, and the Krusty doll somehow managed to get out of that locked trunk and just stow away on the bottom of Homer's car. And then he just grabs Homer by the back of the head. He's banging him around the house. He lands in the kitchen where Marge sees him, and he's starting to choke out Homer. He puts his face in a dog bowl. Homer's like, dog water, no!
Marge, the doll's trying to kill me, and the toaster's been laughing at me.
So Marge looks on the back of the toy box, and it says, 1-800-DON'T-SUE, or some shit like that. Calls the number. The tech guy comes in. The doll's trying to pull Homer's tongue out. Just picks up the doll, pulls off its shirt. It's like, oh, here's your problem. You have it set to evil. Click.
There's a little switch on the back. That's evil. Good.
And then the doll is just in this pure good form, and it essentially becomes like Homer's best friend / slave. And it's just like he's serving Homer all these things. He's like it's like, I walked the dog today. The dog buried me like 5 times and shit. Yeah, he'll do that to you. Comes home from a long day of work, goes to the house. The fucking what's it called? His girlfriend doll or whatever. Her head pops up. My life sucks. And then it just cuts to the end of the episode.
Yeah, it was what a fucking like breath of fresh air considering the last episode. And it was, oh god, it was fucking funny. There were so many funny things. And the by the way, that button's about as useless as the purge button from Cabin in the Woods. Why does that thing exist? Why the fuck do these two switches need to be a thing? But I know, and also too, this is actually based on one of my favorite and creepiest Twilight Zone episodes. But Brandon always remembers the title. I always forget
Living Doll.
The Living
is
Doll.
the easiest title to
Living
remember.
Doll. Well, what's the name of the doll though? It's
Talkie Tina.
Talkie Tina.
Talking Tina.
Fucking terrifying of an episode, and I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Even with the whole "I'm Talkie Tina and I'm going to kill you."
This was a phenomenal episode. It was so nice to actually watch a Simpsons episode and laugh hard. What did you think, David?
Dude, I love this episode. Definitely a good start.
And then moved into the second episode, which falls on.
Zach, what did you think of Clown Without Pity?
This might be my favorite episode.
Ooh,
yeah. So far, I think this one might be my favorite episode.
It's really funny.
Fucking hilarious.
They did actually make the evil talking Krusty doll.
Really?
Like a decade ago, maybe a little more. And it actually does have the good and evil switch on the back. And you can pull a string, and depending on where you have the switch, it'll say different things. But it won't say, "I'm Krusty the Clown and I'm going to kill you." And I'm willing to bet like some like organization is like, if you're marketing this to kids, you can't have it say, "I'm going to kill you." I'm guessing that's what it was.
Probably. It's high-strung religious folk.
Yeah, it's out of production now. It goes for like $200 or $300 on eBay. Like, if it said, "I'm Krusty the Clown and I'm going to kill you," if I had the money, I would probably shell it out. But it's like, it's the most famous quote of him from the episode, and it's like I just can't justify buying it if it's not going to say it.
Yeah,
I don't blame you on that one.
Sure. Yeah,
a lot of funny moments in this episode.
Oh,
especially that Whoopi Goldberg one. That was.
The bottomless pit is fucking great.
Yeah, and I really liked the low angle shot of both Lisa introducing the story and Grandpa Simpson saying that the doll's evil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when Homer returned from the store with the doll, they're playing Pin the Tail and the Donkey on the front door, and the house is blindfolded, and Homer just barges in.
Just BAM!
Dude, it was fucking great. Dude, and his grandpa's like, the doll is evil. Grandpa, you've said that about anything. He's like, oh, I just want attention.
And of course, I love the "that's good, that's bad, that's
that fucking bit's hilarious.
and of course, when Marge's put on hold, They do the music. Everybody loves a clown,
Oh,
so
yeah.
why don't you? Which they do a joke like that like 3 times in that season of The Simpsons.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Where it's like somebody's calling something they're put on hold, and there's just ironically relevant music playing. Yeah, I really like this one.
Yeah. This
Oh,
was
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, it
I
was.
enjoyed it from start to like finish.
It was a good time. No alcohol required.
Indeed. No, yeah, it was definitely an awesome episode, which unfortunately leads into a not so awesome episode.
So
There's
next,
always that one.
Yeah.
It's always that. There, you know what? I think that's going to be a trend with these. Like, I think for the most part, you're always going to have an episode that's probably on the weaker side. I would love it if we do get to an episode of Treehouse Horror when all three are
Yeah.
like
just wait.
at least solid.
wait.
They don't have to be fantastic, but solid. Like all consistently 3 are solid.
Yeah.
But Brandon's saying that.
I will also say the first episode in every single one of these has been the best so far, like of the 3.
Yeah, that is
It's
interesting.
all around.
Yeah, that definitely is an interesting fact. I don't know if it's because like we're just fresh and it's out the gate, but honestly,
I just think it's because they're just the better episodes. I mean, at least this time around, the last episode wasn't the worst, thank God, but...
fair enough.
So we do have a little bit of wraparound story to get into before our next segment. So as we return from commercial break, Homer is telling a really bad, scary story. He forgot to, like, there's a guy's wife that comes to the door, but he forgot to mention that she's dead. She hits him on the head with a golf club, but nobody understands why. He says, well, the husband used to go golfing all the time, and it bugs him. He says, you said he used to go bowling.
Just Jesus.
So Homer's just failing at telling a story. Grandpa says he's coughed up scarier things. Bart says, Grandpa, you've lived an interesting life. Why don't you tell a story? That's lying, you know it, but I have seen a lot of movies. As the animation turns black and white and goes into our second segment, King Homer. Mark.
I wonder what this one's about.
Can I just
Oh.
summarize it right now?
Sure.
It's a way more boring King Kong ripoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
about,
really all
about-
it is, and
about
that's
it.
what makes it so fucking boring.
It's really like it really is a bad rip off. And in case anybody who doesn't know King Kong, literally, rich entrepreneur wants to go to a mysterious island, hires an actress to come along with him. They find the island. It's got giant King Kong and a bunch of other creatures on it. They trick King Kong somehow. And then they knock out King Kong, bring him back to New York, or Springfield in this case. King Kong escapes and then kidnaps the girl, and then I guess in this one, and a twist ending, they get married and have kids, I guess. I don't know how that works, but and that's the end of it. And actually, I only laughed once where
When?
the Mr. Burns joke.
Where he fucking dances around
Yeah.
after getting gas.
Well, no, that was actually funny. I forgot. So there are 2 good ones when he dances around for the gas, and then also too, and Marge's like, "This is terrible." He's like, "You're right. I can't wait to see the reviews. They're gonna be terrible."
I did also like Smithers' line at the beginning. I don't think women and semen mix. We
Yeah.
know what you think.
Yeah, that's pretty
A
funny.
little subtle joke there.
The dancing around of Smithers' sexuality in this entire series and show. It was overall a pretty flat fucking episode. Like, I understand what they were trying to do. Like, you want to incorporate something that everybody knows, but overall it was a very disappointing
It was
episode.
dull as all hell.
Like, there were very few, like, it was only like those 2 couple bits that like really made me laugh, but everything else was kind of like a churl. And I think the only other time I thought something was funny or somewhat exciting is when he was just randomly eating people. Or the whole,
I really liked the sound of the bones crunching whenever he ate somebody, and when he tried to eat Lenny, he's like, "Come on, Homer, quit eating me! Come on!"
oh no, when I did a little when Burns tells Smithers, "Great job, Smithers. Now it's time for a raise," and then he gets eaten. He's like, "Oh well." Yeah, it was pretty funny. But for the most part, it was very, very flat. Particular segment.
Flattest of
Or
flat.
he's like trying to climb the building, really made it like to the first floor, and then fell off, couldn't make it to the top.
Yeah.
was
The
pretty
planes
bad.
had to go refuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made it seem like he was like almost there, but like camera cuts them. He's like just made it to like the first or second floor, and he's like tired, and falls over.
Destroys like half the fucking sidewalk.
Oh my god. Yeah, but overall it was pretty flat, man.
Yeah.
I liked it. I do agree it is the weakest of the three on this episode because it did feel very. It felt like they were too afraid to exit the box of King Kong. Like they did a really good job with the animation. Like there are shots in it that are straight out of the movie, recreated beautifully. And of course, it's just like you would never get a black and white segment today. I really like that first shot of Marge coming in through the fog, and I do think this is probably the best animated episode we've had, at least definitely in this trio of stories. Potentially the best animation of the Treehouse of Horror so far. But yeah, it did feel a little too constrained by following King Kong beat for beat, but I still think there was a lot of funny lines and a lot of funny stuff along the way.
Yeah, they fell into the Psycho remake. The shot for shot Psycho remake.
Wasn't he like wrestling a dinosaur at one point?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they got the
That was
dinosaur
kinda funny.
wrestling. They got that, what do you call it? The upward angle of him, just like that close up of Kong. You've got the three sailors on the ship where they're talking about, oh yeah, we're going to Ape Island to capture a giant ape. I wish we were going to Candy Apple Island. Candy Apple Island, what do they got there? Apes, but they're not so big.
Fair enough. So Zach, what'd you think?
Meh.
Yeah, that sounds about right. David?
I didn't enjoy it. But I did like. I agree with Brandon. Look, the animation part though, I enjoyed.
I liked it. I think the more familiar you are with the 1933 King Kong, the more you're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
I don't think this was bad at all. I don't think there was a single bad story in this trio of stories, but this is definitely the weakest.
Fair enough. Yeah, there wasn't much to say about it. It just kind of...
Yeah, it's King Kong.
Yeah, it's King Kong.
It's King Kong.
I've seen it so many times. I think that's the thing. I've seen it so many times in so many different variations.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't
It
need
is better than the 1976 Jeff Bridges King Kong.
Never seen that one.
I've
Don't.
seen that.
Don't do that.
That was actually the first King Kong I saw as a kid.
I'm sorry.
Really?
I remember enjoying it.
Have
But
you
then
watched it
Peter
as an
Jackson.
adult?
Nope.
Okay.
But then
Actually-
Peter Jackson's King Kong came out, and I'm like, this is God tier.
I really do like Peter Jackson's King
I-
Kong.
Peter
like it.
Jackson's is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I do like Peter Jackson's one. I think it's extremely underrated.
Yeah.
And
I
actually,
don't remember seeing anybody hate or dislike that movie. I remember that movie receiving praise across the board that year.
You know,
I do know people that don't like it, and they're just kind of like, oh, it's boring, it's 3 hours, it's boring. I was like, actually watch the movie. Stop saying it's boring and watch
Have
it.
you watched the fucking movie? Are you out of your mind?
You know, the funny thing is, it was kind of one of those movies that for a lot of people, you have to like remind them, and then they go, "Oh yeah, that's right." And I don't know why, like it escapes people's minds and people's memories because it is actually a very good movie.
Not only was it a good movie, but it was also a great fucking video game too. If you played it.
Oh, yeah,
I never
it
got a
was
chance.
I never played
I never
it.
got a chance to play
but
the video
was a
game.
good
I know it
game.
was great, but
Yeah, that was like I remember
The
renting
video
that game
game?
from Blockbuster. If y'all remember Blockbuster,
I do remember.
that.
I beat
Blockbuster.
that game in one fucking sitting that night.
Wow.
I played through that whole thing. That game was fun as hell, and it looked great on a PS2. Like it's like holy shit.
Yeah, well, PS2 had some pretty solid shit going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's always the funny thing. Like, I never had a movie that I can remember, that was really, really good, but it kind of just escapes people's memories. Like, I never, like, a lot of people, like, you need to, again, like I was saying, you need to remind them, and people, like, when you're talking about just Peter Jackson movies and you're talking about, like, general action movies, especially when you start getting into, like, top 10 lists of, like, early 2000 movies, like from 2000 to 2010, and you bring up that, and people are like, oh yeah, I remember that, it was good, But again, though, it's not somebody that often in conversations that I've noticed, people need to be reminded about its existence. And I never really got a straight answer as to why people forgot about it.
Actually, let me ask you guys, because we got Mark, an actor here, and we got Zach, a VFX person here. Let me get your opinion on something.
All right.
Should Andy Serkis have been eligible for a Best Supporting Actor nomination at the Oscars for his portrayal of King Kong?
For King Kong?
Because he was in a motion capture suit playing King Kong. So it's not just this out of a computer thing. There was an actual physical performance there.
Wasn't he also in the movie?
Yes. But I'm talking about his portrayal specifically of King Kong.
Well,
so is a motion capture performance still acting? And should performances like that be eligible for Oscars?
I'm gonna say yes, but not that one.
Okay.
Because Andy Serkis has done other ones
Yeah.
that are
He has
far
been. He
more-
was Gollum. He was Caesar.
correct. Like those.
I would say Gollum is probably the best
Gollum.
one. Caesar, I don't know, but
Caesar from Planet of the Apes.
no, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't know about Caesar, but definitely Gollum, abso-fucking-lutely.
You know what's something funny is I'm gonna say the reason why I say no, because I didn't even remember that he was playing King Kong. I until you refresh my memory, didn't remember. But I'll always remember that he played Gollum.
Yeah.
And I always remember that he played Caesar, but I will never. Most of the time, I won't remember that he played King Kong. So to answer your question, yes, I do believe that actors should be eligible for acting nominations.
I
for
would
motion
say for
capture
the
work.
King Kong one,
But
he'd be
not that
like
one.
stunt.
Okay.
Just because of like the movements that are required to like do ape-like stuff, especially on that kind of scale, I would say more stunt than anything else.
The specialty awards that are the day before the Oscars, that they do all the other awards, I would probably consider him in that category. But again, no, most people, if you didn't tell them, they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
All right, so we return to the Halloween party. A zombie busts through the door, headless zombie. Everybody screams. Turns out it's Ned Flanders in a zombie costume. He hopes he didn't scare everybody, but Grandpa Simpson is having a heart attack. Bart says, "Nice try, but I've got a story so scary you'll wet your pants." And Grandpa says, "Too late." Everybody scoots away from him, and we go into our final story, Dial Z for Zombies.
Nice.
David,
So
tell us about some zombies.
This episode is obviously a parody of like Night of the Living Dead. We start off with Bart in the classroom giving a book report, and then Miss Krabappel realizes that his book that he chose was your preschool level.
It was an alphabet book.
Yeah, it was an alphabet book, so a pop-up alphabet book. So it's even like
You
worse.
didn't even read the whole thing.
No.
I read most of it. He got to pee and he's like, "Fuck this, I'm done."
And then she's like, "Well, you're gonna have to, read another one and redo your book report." So he stays at school. He's at the library, reading one of the books. Realizes for some reason there's an occult section in the library that nobody realized that was there. And he goes in, and in one of the spell books, or a black magic book, hits Bart in the head, and he's like, "Oh, this is cool." He opens it, and there's a bunch of these like weird ghosts or souls, like sticking out of the book. He takes it home. Lisa's reminiscing about her cat that died like 4 years prior. And he's like, "Hey, maybe there's something in this book we can, bring, Snowball back to life." So they find one. They go to the cemetery to perform the ritual or spell, and wind up raising a whole bunch of zombies who wreak havoc on Springfield, biting everyone and turning everyone into zombies. And then we end up, I think, at elementary school, right?
Yeah.
Or do they run?
They run home first.
They run home first and tell Homer's like, "Hey, we messed up. We messed up. Is the car okay?" "Yeah, but we messed up. But is the car okay?" "Yeah." "Okay, you're fine."
Did you mess up the car? No.
No.
Did you raise the dead back to life? Yes.
But
But is
car's
the car
okay? Yes.
You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
And then we come back to the school, and Principal Skinner is like calling Martin to the principal's office, like, "Bring your brain." And Martin's like, "Oh my God."
Much better use of Skinner than in the last episode.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Was
I
it like
agree.
head like off his body and like his head was on the desk, or was it
Later
like,
on, it's attached when he's calling Martin to the office, but later you see the three bullies playing soccer with Skinner's head.
Yeah, it's pretty. Not the face.
So they run back home, and they're boarding it up so the zombies don't get in.
Oh, don't forget Krusty in Sideshow Mel.
Oh yeah, they're doing the Krusty show. He's like, here's a gift for you guys, and then you open it, and then Sideshow Mel's there, pulls Krusty in.
God, I love it.
Technical difficulties.
You gotta go, yeah, and then there's
Comes back, crushes a zombie.
Stand
To
by.
enter the sweepstakes, send me your parents' brain.
brain.
Or write parents' brains on a 3x5 card.
while they're boarding up the house. And Marge's like, did you board up? He's like, Homer, did you board up the doors? Like, no. Zombies.
Oh yeah,
bolted.
that's what I was supposed to do.
Oh, the zombies. No.
Yeah, so they burst through the friggin' door, and Lisa realizes a way to stop the zombies and kind of reverse the spell, but they have to get back to the school library. So Homer kind of sacrifices himself for them to head over there to get retrieve the spell book. So and they go back to the cemetery to perform the ritual to try to get the zombies back into their graves. So
Amazing.
then they're all just like, all right, guys, we'll see you. I'll see you in hell. And then there's John Smith going into the grave.
Excuse
And then
me,
there's-
I'm John Smith.
Yeah.
John Smith, 1882. My mistake.
I'll see you in hell. Did you get that boulder up yet? Nope,
Nope.
not yet. Yeah,
You
this-
did miss two really good jokes, David.
Which one?
When they first break in and Homer's trying to sacrifice himself and says, take me, but spare my family. And they're looking into his ear and tapping on his head and you just hear it's hollow.
Oh,
It's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Brains! We're looking for brains.
Oh my god, it was amazing.
I realized he
So
had no
Zach got
freaking
his
brains.
brainless Homer joke.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was pretty great. The and then also
And then,
turning Lisa into a snail.
And then,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Dad, you shot the zombie Flanders. He was a zombie?
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Yeah, this was a fun episode.
This was a fun episode, even
Yeah,
though
it
it was
was.
named after a whodunit movie, and it had nothing to do with that whatsoever.
Yeah.
One of my favorite whodunit movies, and I'm like, oh, maybe it'll combine. No, it does not.
What's the whodunit movie, Mark?
Dial M for Murder. The
Directed by
I don't know. I forgot who was directed.
Alfred Hitchcock,
Is it? Was it
Yeah.
Hitchcock?
who we got his silhouette, a Homer-style silhouette of him at the
Oh, that is
beginning.
true. That is true. So
So we got some Hitchcock at the beginning,
Little-
some Hitchcock at the end.
There you go. Getting Hitchcock at both ends. All right.
Yeah.
That means two things. Anyway, yeah, this was a fun fucking episode.
This Treehouse episode was freaking awesome.
Yeah,
This
I-
one was
I
a
enjoyed
lot
it.
better, thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with the second one just being weaker, it still was definitely better than the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still think King Homer was a really good one. It is definitely the most, segments 1 and 3 were a lot freer to do what they needed to do, so they could be a lot funnier, whereas King Homer, I felt like they were being a little too rigid with their spoof. But yeah, I really liked Dino Z for Zombies. It's probably, and structurally, it's probably the weakest of these three, but there were so many laughs that I didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a more like a fun episode. The Waldo joke was funny. He pulled up what was the name of the book? It was
Find Waldo yet again.
yeah,
Opens the
find
book
it.
and he's just right there.
He's like, not even
There's like one other person on the page. It's
He's like-
social distancing Waldo.
yeah. It's like he's not even trying.
That's really to know.
A little too close to home right now. Of course, everybody's listening to this in October, so
It's October. Everything's good and it's a golden age again.
Thank God.
Wink,
Yeah.
wink.
yeah. Oh god. But yeah, this is a fun episode. I'm actually glad that this is way better than the last Treehouse. And I'm glad.
Oh, yeah.
I was really glad that, obviously I didn't really care for the second episode, but I'm glad that this one stuck the landing. And overall, like, even with the second one being a little less enjoyable, throughout this was the energy was better. It seemed like there was a bolt of lightning through this episode.
Yeah.
It was much more energized, much funnier, much better paced. Like it was a lot more going on, and it was almost like it was like, oh shit, this is a Simpsons episode. Like I was saying at the beginning,
Oh, we almost forgot to mention King Kodos.
Oh yeah, they showed up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Randomly at the zombies,
zombies.
saying, okay, the humans are going to wither and fall like the earth plums we've observed on the observoscope, and then they laugh for 5 minutes. And it's totally reused animation from when they're hovering above Earth with a peace symbol in the last
Yeah.
Treehouse of Horror. Like,
I noticed that.
the words don't match their mouths, and it's the exact same shot, just minus the peace symbol on Earth.
God, it's fucking amazing. There's actually a little bit of a blooper though, or a little bit of a thing. I don't know if you guys caught it. Right when he's talking to Lisa when she turns into a snail, her lips don't move when she talks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was just a bad animation thing or something.
It was a bad animation. But yeah, it was funny enough of a gag to make it worth it. But yeah, it was a fun episode. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
Overall, I feel comfortable saying of the 3 Treehouse of Horrors we've watched, this is probably the best overall one we've watched so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll agree to that.
Yeah. All right. So, funniest moment,
Welfare check.
or is there
Between the
anything else? Is
welfare
there anything
one-
else we need to talk about with Dial Z?
No.
No.
They kind of just
That
end
was
with
pretty much
watching TV,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the welfare one was probably the funniest part.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the funniest.
Yeah.
things.
Well, for
And then oh, this you just have to switch the this is on evil setting. You just gotta switch it up to good.
That one was good, but I think the welfare one and hell, even the heterosexual one or the,
Oh yeah, the heterosexual one was pretty great.
or the Whoopi Goldberg joke.
There's a lot of fun ones.
There's a
there.
lot of
there's
solid,
a lot of really good
solid
ones.
jokes in
In the,
this.
yeah, especially in the first one.
So the Flanders one was funny. Just
Yeah,
because
I
you know
liked-
the history of the whole city. Like if you were like, I would imagine that joke is way funnier to you than it is to most people who are average Simpson viewers.
Well, I
'Cause
think even average Simpson viewers know that Homer hates Flanders with
Yeah.
a burning passion.
Like, I mean, when Zach's howling at a Simpsons joke, they stuck it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I like how George Washington, Albert Einstein, and William Shakespeare are
Come
all
back as
buried in
zombies.
Springfield.
Yeah.
You know,
Because why the hell not?
there was a real huge opportunity for an Edgar Allan Poe joke there because of the Raven, but no. They instead used fucking Shakespeare.
It's better.
But yeah, I liked Zombie Flanders. I liked Sideshow Mel pulling Krusty into the giant box. I did like Last Lingering Thread of My Heterosexuality, and I did like the Good and Evil Switch.
Yeah.
I may go with Good and Evil Switch as my pick for funniest moment.
Nice.
Yeah. Because it is the most useless thing.
I think the Whoopi Goldberg for me. That was fucking funny.
Yeah.
Throwing that box back. Like,
And then, this episode as a whole really played more for jokes. But is there anything that we want to pick for scariest, creepiest, or goriest, grossest moment? Was there anything like?
Like I mean, yeah, the Krusty doll was funny, but it did have some creepy energy to it too.
Barney eating the freaking zombie arm, and he's not even a zombie.
Oh yeah,
That was pretty
Let it
fucking
roll.
weird.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that is a little deranged.
It's also Barney.
If it can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, that was-
Just not entirely.
Oh my god, it was pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's that for me.
Yeah, I think that the Krusty doll was funny, but it was creepy too at the same time. So
Yeah.
it had that going for it.
I'll also throw in Skinner calling Martin up to the principal's office because that was not played for
Yeah.
jokes at all. Like that was probably the one played for serious, sinister moment in the whole trio of stories.
Or like King Homer going in and eating the little girl. That was pretty
with the bones
messed
crunching,
up.
and that
Yeah.
was pretty messed up.
We all laughed though.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was.
Zach,
Yeah.
did you have a pick for creepiest or scariest?
Eh,
or
I mean-
grossest?
Eh,
Zach's so desensitized.
yeah. So that's
Um,
kind of a meh.
All right, worst segment. It sounds like we're all unanimous. King Homer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though I don't think it's a bad segment at all, but it
No.
is definitely the
Yeah.
weakest of these three.
It's just boring.
And then, I don't know, Mark, what's your pick for best segment of these three?
I would probably. Ooh, I definitely the first episode.
Yeah.
Definitely the first episode for me. It seems to be a running tradition right now that thus far, all the, like Zach was saying before, like all the first episodes are my picks for the best ones, and this is no different.
Yeah.
So.
I agree 100%.
David?
Third segment for sure. I just had a lot of fun watching that one.
I'm going to go with the first segment.
Nice.
Both 1 and 3 were really funny, but I do feel like Clown stuck the landing just a little bit better than. And I guess we just should talk about the endings real quick of how like the first 2 segments both end with the Love American style heart wipe, I guess we'll call it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They did?
Yeah.
All three of them did.
Not the last one. Last one just ended with them watching TV,
yeah.
and then it just cuts to credits. You hear a wolf howl.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I just really like the punchline of the good and evil switch, and once the Krusty doll came, and actually once Homer entered the House of Evil, it was just joke after joke after joke, and all of them landed. But yeah, I think 1 and 3 are both very strong, but I'm going to give the edge to 1.
Nice.
So yeah, we are 3-1 for best segment on this. Clown Without Pity is
That's good.
the overall winner for this episode.
Very cool.
Any final thoughts we want to share about the episode as a whole?
It was funny.
It was definitely like this is
A lot of jokes.
literally said in the last episode. I was like I'm seeing where the energy is going, and this is the first time like when the rubber meets the road for me when it comes to these type of.
The rubber meets the road.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna.
All
go
right,
with the rubber
you're
meets
really
the
gonna go with that.
I am gonna go with that.
I hope you're proud of yourself.
That is exactly. I am very proud of myself. Not as proud as Brandon is, but definitely proud of myself.
Okay.
I'm going to say they definitely switched the writers from evil to good on this one.
Nice.
Again, very proud of himself.
You're not wrong.
David.
Oh, I had fun watching all 3 segments. I knew that we were gonna watch a good one from the beginning when Homer comes out.
That fucking
Right.
Hitchcock thing. It's
Dude.
like, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think we
I
all
knew
knew
it.
at that moment like
Yep.
we're in for something different here.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you for listening to part 3 of the October 2020 Midwest Horror Network special, where we're dissecting all the Treehouse of Horror episodes of The Simpsons. Before you leave us, please hit like and subscribe, or write like and subscribe on a 3x5 card and send it to us at Midwest Horror Network. You can check us out on our various social medias, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Midwest Horror Network. Also listen to our other podcast, the Nightmares Podcast, which you can find also on our YouTube channel, as well as Spotify and Anchor. Zach?
Squirrels.
David?
I hate squirrels.
Mark?
I'm indifferent about squirrels.
Happy October, everyone.